Mon Dieu, mais cette musique est si excitante que j'en ai mal au dos. Dans ce premier chapitre du Paris Luxury Summit, nous allons avoir droit à une étude spéciale de l'IFOP pour CB News, à des luxes intimes, à des lectrices parisiennes et du live quand même. Mais avant tout, nous allons nous adresser à notre grande conscience de ce Paris Luxury Summit, un homme dont la parole est très rare et l'audace est pourtant très grande. Je parle d'Albert Elbaz. Vous l'avez suivi dans ses aventures et puis tout à coup, il s'était retiré dans je ne sais quelle nuée et le voici de retour avec un projet extraordinaire, AZ Factory, une entreprise digitale fondée sur toutes les nouvelles technologies, une nouvelle approche du luxe, de la couture à travers le digital, à travers les mutations. Et évidemment, il a une vision pour les temps qui viennent avec AZ Factory. Et Albert Elbaz est avec nous, ce qui est exceptionnel. Et lorsqu'il parle, j'aime mieux vous le dire. Albert, nous sommes dans un moment bien particulier. 2020, c'est un début de décennie, mais comme une sorte de début qui s'effondre, mais qui en même temps appelle peut-être des années folles qui arrivent, qui ressembleront aux années 20 du siècle passé. Mais pour l'instant, ce que l'on voit, c'est des figures un peu du burn-out. On voit des médecins, des soignants épuisés qui courent dans tous les sens. On voit des gens qui restent chez eux, qui ne savent pas bien quoi faire. On voit des gens qui sont épuisés ou empêchés. Et vous, au milieu de ça, vous avez décidé de lancer quelque chose de radicalement nouveau et qui ne s'appuie sur rien de ce qu'il y avait avant. Comment est-ce que vous faites ça?
Actually, je ne sais pas comment je le fais. You know, I think that maybe we all know that we're going through this COVID. I don't want to say the word.
It's good so not to say it.
COVID. Mm-hmm. And you know that I'm an hypochondriac, so it's double the trouble for someone like me. And yes, I took some time off, but it was not a vacation. You know, I'm not someone who likes vacation. I prefer to work. I don't really like the sun, the boat, the sand. I'm not very Caribbean, as you can tell. I'm always with the coat. So I took some time, actually, more than anything, to meet myself again, because I found that sometime when we're creative directors and we run, so we create and we direct, I mean, 3/4 of our days is meeting. So at one point, I thought enough of board meeting and I have to meet myself and I have to be me again. And I started to observe the world, observe women, observe fashion from an outside, as an outsider. And I came back because I love fashion. And the timing of coming back was really very challenging. It's time that the world is sometime you wake up and you feel that we're in a world of apocalypse, of fear, of some sort of prison that you cannot hug, you cannot go out, you cannot touch people. And you know, I'm in a métier of touching people. I touch people with fabrics. I hug people with fabrics. That's my job. And we find out that I think that more than anything, I was feeling this solitude, endless solitude. And more than anything, I was just missing to be hugged. That's what I was going through. You know, with the mask I leave, actually, I like the mask because it gives me a nice silhouette. So I think I would keep the mask forever. But going back to the whole pandemic issue, you know, every history article you read, you see that after pandemic or after war, there is always a peak of art and economy. I didn't say economy and art because economy doesn't always peak art, but art can peak economy. And I think that we are living a trauma. And I just hope that we're not going to go through a post-trauma. This is my hope. And when you talk to me about les années folles, you know, it's maybe not a coincidence that our studio, the place where we work, is actually in Montparnasse. And Montparnasse was the center of les années folles. La Coupole, La Rotonde, le Carrefour Vavin, Raspail, Montparnasse. And it's maybe not an hasard that we are in the center of this area in Paris. And, you know, I did a little bit of reading about Les Années Folles to understand it more. And what I read and what really touched me more than anything is that Paris was la capitale de la liberté. It was not just like la capitale de la mode, but it was la capitale de la liberté in music, in fashion, in art, in literature. We see like Picasso and Chagall and Dali and Modigliani and Schiaparelli and Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway, and then jazz. And what I found interesting in jazz, that in jazz you play together. In jazz you improvise. You don't receive note. You have to be you, and you have to listen to other, and you can play the music together by being you and by improvisation. And I think that in time like today that we're so used to work with code, with formula, with being so correct with everything, I think it's maybe time to be us again. And this is what the story is all about. Those years of Les Années Folles were also the year that women started to wear pants and tuxedo. So look how interesting it is that 1920, 2020, it's almost like the history is just coming back. It's about empowering women. It's about women in force, not just empowering. Because I always said that I prefer strong than powerful. Because strong is more internal and powerful you buy. And I think that we see that the moment women were wearing those pants in the 20s, they were starting to talk about freedom. And freedom is not just free to go, but it's also free to think. And I think that here is what and where I find the correlation. Charlie Chaplin, I mean, plenty of humor, but he said everything in a funny way. And one of the phrases that he said, that he cries usually in a rainy day, so people would not know if he has tears or rain in his eyes. So it's also the whimsical, the fun, the sense of humor. But we all know that comedians are always the ones that are telling the truth. And I think that this is where we have to be today. I think that we're talking about hope and optimism. And I think that when we talk about Les Années Folles, I hope that it's not going to be like acid parties and partous everywhere. But Les Années Folles, for me, are also like the idea of seeing people that we always said, oh, ce monsieur est fou, cette dame est folle. And we find out later on that La Folie is actually with people that are the most smart people. So I'm actually looking for the smart years, not Les Années Folles, maybe Les Années Smart. Les Années Smart, where you can actually think and feel and be you and be free. And this is also part of the project I'm working with. You know, I'm not going to invent the wheel here in this project. I'm actually just coming back again, and I'm not going to be a disturber of the system. I prefer to do it my way, like Frank Sinatra, that did it his way. And this is what I'm doing. I'm thinking again, what is my role as a designer? I'm asking myself, what is it that women needs today? How much I can actually help and make and not change, because I don't think that I have to transform women. I can only make them a better version of themselves. So this is what we are all about.
Mais on a l'impression que pendant un bon moment, les égos étaient célébrés sur les réseaux sociaux, mais que finalement, ils étaient assez éloignés physiquement les uns des autres. On se retrouvait dans des soirées, dans des parties. Et aujourd'hui, on ne peut plus faire ça. Et on a l'impression que recréer de la proximité, du lien ensemble, c'est peut-être ça qui va être le luxe à venir, c'est d'arriver peut-être à un moment à se retoucher les uns les autres.
Je Je pense qu'on a tous découvert qu'on a une cuisine à la maison. Tu vois, j'avais une cuisine, mais je savais pas qu'elle existait. Alors là, je sais qu'il y a une cuisine. Mon problème est, à cause du fait que je suis un petit peu hypochondriaque, que je vais chaque 2 heures manger quelque chose pour voir que j'ai toujours le goût. Je parle pas de le goût de la mode, mais je parle le goût pour voir que j'ai pas le Covid. Hein. Alors, c'est ça. Je pense que on a découvert qu'on n'a pas besoin de prendre un avion de 27 heures to Australia pour un long week-end. Mais on peut rester chez nous. Je pense que on a découvert un petit peu cette sorte de intimité entre les gens. On a trouvé aussi qu'on peut faire un petit peu différemment parce que c'était un sort de pic avant. C'était over the top on every accent. Et là, on est parti dans un autre extrême. Et je pense que l'idée, c'est de trouver toujours le milieu, mais sans être médiocre. De trouver le milieu entre être avec des gens, mais trouver des moments de solitude et des moments de pensée. C'est de créer le blanc et le noir, pas toujours le gris, parce que maintenant, on vit dans un moment qui est assez gris. That's it.
Et quel objet finalement symbolise ça? Quel objet peut être luxueux aujourd'hui? On a l'impression que c'est plus des sentiments, des rapprochements, des liens, mais est-ce qu'il y a un objet qu'on pourrait vraiment désirer profondément et qui représenterait le luxe dans cette période qui va être soit post-traumatique, soit une période de respiration et d'aspiration folle? De quoi les gens ont besoin?
Des fois, je dis qu'on peut pas toujours acheter le luxe et le mettre dans un sachet en plastique avec un super logo. Non, c'est pas ça. Je pense que c'est ce sort de besoin et de rêve qu'on a, et ça peut être une robe, that is hugging you. That's for me is luxury. It's a piece that makes you feel yourself, a piece that can accompany you, a piece that you can live with, a person that you want to be with. That's luxury. To sit and have even a glass of water with a friend, that's for me luxury today.
Soit quelque chose qui touche vraiment à l'intime.
You know, we're living in France, we're living in the country, in the city where they invented perfume. You see, the deodorant was invented in another continent, but in France we invented the perfume, and it's very symbolic. And someone said that success is like a perfume. We can always smell but never drink. And I think that now it's time to just smell the perfume again and to enjoy the sense of the perfume. I do think that, you know, the whole idea of luxury is always about tradition and know-how and history. And I think that the beauty also of France, with all the atelier, and this is maybe the notions of couture, that couture is not only about red carpet. Couture is also about experiment and about made to measure. It's all about body. And I think that this is what France is giving to the world, is the ability to work in a place where there is a laboratory, where there is an experiment, when there is also a factory. And you know, this is what we are all about. In the past, I thought of a name, and I thought I really related to the word factory, because this is where you see the people, when you can look into their eyes, when you are seeing where things are happening, the fire of producing something. So it's not just to create a hub, to create a studio, but it's to create a factory where you can think and we can make.
Apporter chacun son génie dans toute la création.
Apporter le génie, je pense que c'est ce qui est arrivé vraiment dans les années folles, c'est ce sort du togetherness, de le faire ensemble, de travailler ensemble, c'est de ne pas chacun avoir son sort de screen. What do you need at that moment? And I think that we as designers, we have to do, and we are, I think all my colleagues are there as well, is the biggest question is, what do you give in a time of pandemic? And what would you give after? And what do people want today? And what would they want after? sometimes I say to myself, you know, after 1 year of diet, all you want is mayonnaise and like bread. But maybe we all know today that mayonnaise and bread is not too healthy. So this is what I was saying, that it's not just les années folles, but les années smart. It's the years of being a little bit healthier, a bit smarter, not just intelligent. It's about being street smart, because we all became kind of survivors these years. We have to survive with the terror attack. We don't know where it's coming from. It's not a war even. I don't think it's a war, because it can be in the office, it can be in the elevator, and it's also surprises, you know, that are following you. And you see, part of our project will be surprises, because I think that the way that we live today, you're always getting so bored so fast that if you do one thing, I mean, a second later, it's like, okay, it's so old. I mean, let's go next. So it's really about surprising. I think it's also about having fun and having some joy again, because we know now what sadness is. We know what solitude is. We know what fear is all about. And I think that would be the change, to go back and to learn from what we have, but basically is to bring back joy and fun and hope and happiness. And I hope I don't sound ringard with all these words, and I hope I don't sound like a politician, but I'm not. But it's just things that I feel that I'm missing.
En tout cas, si on veut avoir des années smart, qui sont aussi des années folles, il faut donc du génie. Parce que j'ai entendu un épidémiologiste dire que le virus lui-même, il a du génie. Donc on a besoin, pour le contrer et pour trouver une façon de vivre avec lui, d'avoir des génies comme vous. Alors merci et... je souhaite vraiment, et je pense que tous les gens qui vous ont écouté aujourd'hui le pensent avec moi, je vous souhaite énormément de succès à AZ Factory et j'espère qu'on vous verra sortir de ces années, de ce confinement avec toute la gloire que vous méritez. À bientôt Albert, merci beaucoup.
Thank you Ariel.